Often people will forget what you say, but they won't forget how you show up. So today we're talking about how to be consistent and how to lead by example. Consistency is key, and consistency can help you be the best version of yourself as you are inspiring people who are watching. Yeah, may not remember the exact words, but they sure will remember the time that you showed up and you brought your A game. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. Welcome to my 100-day walk to consistency. This is day number 88. We're back at the Wildlife Reserve here in North Alabama in Huntsville, and I'm glad that you're here. Remember, every time that you show up, every time that you're here, you're building a better version of yourself, a more consistent version of yourself, a more self-confident version of yourself, and you are setting yourself up for the best possibility of success. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the walk. So over the last several episodes, we've talked about how to grow, how to stretch, how to build a team, how to leave a legacy, and all that's important. But one of the most important things is, as I've been saying over the last several episodes, is the person that you are developing into, the person that you are growing into, the person that you are creating a vision about. And one of the most important ways for us to see that is in how we show up and how people emulate us. Now, there are some things that I do that there are times when I'm walking by a mirror or I will respond in a certain way, and I am just floored sometimes by the fact that that is exactly how my dad either looked or how he responded or how he said a certain thing. And my son will say things and do some things, and it is exactly what I have done or I have said or I have moved. And so people catch more often the things that we do, and they pick those things up more than the words that we say. And so as we're talking about being successful, one of the most important things for us is to make sure that we are showing up with our A game. The most powerful form of leadership isn't a little title or position. It's in the behavior. Yeah. I went to a conference several years ago, and one of the things that the presenter said was that they are in the trenches with the team, that they come in and they do and they participate. Now, and I'm not meaning to suggest that as a leader you go and do on your daily, everyday routine basis all the things that your team's doing, but the team has to understand that you are part of them, that they are part of you. When there is commonality, when there is community, then leadership works well. So today what we're talking about is how to lead by example. If you want to show me some stuff, you can show me. But if you demonstrate it, come on. If you let me read it, great. But if you demonstrate it, if you're walking the walk as you are talking the talk, then I'm fully on board with you. And so that's what we're spending our time today in this episode talking about. Remember, we're always talking about how are we working to be better versions of ourselves and better leaders, whether it's on the job or whether it's in our relationships. That is so important. One of the things that I am now trying to impress on my son by how I behave and what I do and how I look is this idea of health. To make sure that we're putting in the practice, putting in the routines, putting in the behaviors that are required to remain healthy, so that it doesn't have to be something that he has to pick up and learn, but it's something that he's familiar with. Remember, the things that we're familiar with are the things that we do. When we are able to think back to an example, then we're more likely to do that thing. And so my goal is to make sure that he has an example so that when he looks back, it's not foreign to him. That's very important. And we lead by example. When we lead by example, then we're able to give people those things that they can think back on and look at. So why is leadership by example so powerful? Why is it so powerful? Why is it so important? Well, number one, people are always watching. Now you think they're not, but people are always watching. I can't tell you the number of times that, well, I mean, let's go back even to my videos. There are times, we've done a video, and I thought, well, this one maybe not the one, and that very one, someone will say, man, when I watched that, this is what I got from it. Now I'll think back to it. I'm like, well, did I actually say that? Or even was that what I intended? But people are watching. People are watching me. I don't know the number of people that have come up to me and said, man, I've seen you. There's a lady actually where I work, not in our office, but said to me several months ago, she said, I see what you're doing with your weight, and I like it. I didn't know she was watching. Right? So when I come to the cafeteria and I pick things up, she's been watching what I get when she sees me. And so that's very important to understand that people are out there and people are watching us, even if they never say anything. Whether it's your kids, your coworkers, your friends, even strangers, you are setting an example when you show up. And so you may think, well, I'm having a bad day today and nobody's watching me, so I can just, behave, do it, you know how we go. I'm very conscious sometimes when I go down to the cafeteria now, because I understand now that people are watching. So I'm in the cafeteria, I'm the endocrinologist. Let me pause and let that sink in for a minute. So I'm the endocrinologist. So I'm the guy whose job it is to help people with metabolism, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I'm the guy who talks to people about weight. And so when I go down to the cafeteria, I'm very mindful now of the fact that what I get, what I pick up, people are watching. They may never say anything to me, right? I remember I used to go down there and get a bar of chocolate, a chocolate bar. And I have to understand, and this is not to say that you have to kowtow to people or be inauthentic to people, but just to understand that there is an example that you are setting. And so I tell people, right, so I still go down and get a chocolate bar on occasion, but I have to understand that it is an example that I'm setting, that people are watching. So whether it's your kids, like I said, you are setting an example in how you are, how you show up. Most leadership is nonverbal. Ooh, 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 ooh. We think that people are waiting for us to give these tremendous speeches and come up with these great theories, but people really are just watching how we behave. So I'm going to turn around so you can see behind me. This is a lake right where we are in North Alabama here. Nice, beautiful, calm. This is a great place to come in the morning, on the weekends, maybe in the evening. And right now we're probably later in the evening. It's probably, what, I don't know, maybe it's 5:30, 6 o'clock almost. So this is a great place to come and just kind of relax. Beautiful, very peaceful. Let me just be quiet for a minute. I need to come out and record this for one of my my coaching sessions. Sometimes I'll do a calming exercise or centering exercise with my clients. So this would be a good one to do. All right, so I just got a great idea. Okay. All right. So most leadership is nonverbal. It is how you behave that people are seeing and people are remembering. You are not teaching people how to live, lead, or love. Simply, you are showing them an example of how you are living, loving, and leading. And by virtue of that, they will pick up and they will begin emulating some of the things that you are doing. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are being the best version of yourself. Now, here, let's talk. So how do you lead? How do you lead without being exhausted? How do you lead without becoming overwhelmed? Like I just said, I go down to the cafeteria, and I'm mindful of the things I pick up. Well, one of the ways to be able to do that is, one, you want to make sure that you're authentic. When you're inauthentic, it takes energy, right? So if I'm inauthentic, then I got to remember, okay, man, I'm going down to the cafeteria. I can't have the chocolate bar today. If I normally eat chocolate bars, but I'm just trying to put on that I don't eat chocolate bars. So when I go down, I'll get what I want to get, right? But because I have adjusted my mindset, adjusted my thought, because I'm putting a framework in to be healthy, when I show up in the cafeteria, whatever I get is what I would get. It's not that I've created this persona of people, of someone who's not doing the things that I'm doing. In my office, one of my team members said to me the other day, hey, can I go to your office and raid your stash of chips? And I said, yes, because they understand that there are chips in there, right? They know what my thing is. They know my hoarding. They know my scarcity. They know my mentality. And I don't put on in the office. I tell them about my Cadbury. I tell them about the chocolate. I've not had any Ben & Jerry's recently, right? And that one I'm deliberately not doing, because y'all, if I have some Ben & Jerry's, it's gonna be it's gonna be something else. But you get the idea? When you are authentic, when you're showing up as who you are, then there's not any excess energy to put on a performance. But it takes energy to put on a performance. I remember in the midst of my addiction, I would behave in one way and do something totally different. And it took energy. And so when you are authentic, then you're not becoming exhausted. You are actually showing up as the person who you are saying that you are. There's a little place over here I'm going to walk through. Not very long, but let's see what's back here. I've never been down this way. Oh, it's just a little path somebody walked to a little stream. Let me turn around so you could see. Not much back here. All right, so you want to make sure that you are authentic, not performative. Authentic, not performative. Number two, you want to set healthy boundaries. Learning by example doesn't mean that you have to be there all the time for everybody. So if you're not setting boundaries, then you become exhausted, because you feel like you're always in the public eye. You're always having to do. You're always having to show up. Not show up, but you're always having to do the things that other people want. But if you are setting healthy boundaries, then that becomes a non-issue. Because I'm who I am, and I'm going to be there for you during this time, that time. During this other time, that's my time. That's my family time. That's my whatever time. And so you want to make sure that you are setting those healthy boundaries. It means showing other people how to value time, how to value energy, how to value resources. What does that mean? That means you are not giving everybody everything all the time because you say, well, I got to be an example. No. There is virtue in understanding the value of stuff. Just because I have it doesn't mean I got to give it to you. Ooh, I just stepped on some toes. Stepped on my toes. You get that? Not just because I have access to it and you want it means that I have to give it. There's value. You got to work for it. I'm not just giving it away. You've got to put the time in. You've got to show whatever it is, whatever criteria I have. If I'm an example, I have to also teach you the value of the things I have. I have to teach you the value. Why do I have the car that I have? Why do I live in the house that I live? Why am I a physician, for example? Because I went to school. Now, was it easy? No, 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 no. And so understanding that there is value to the stuff is also a way of leading. And then you keep growing. If you are going to be an effective leader, if you're going to be an effective example, you can't stay where you are. So people have to also see you moving and growing and becoming better at what you do. I'm going to tell you, one of my issues is I like so many things. Like there are some things I want to do right now, and I'm like, no, 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 no. You've got to stay right where you are, and you got to become the master of this thing right here before you move to the next. Because if you don't, then you find yourself becoming jack of all trades and master of none. Now, it's great to be well-rounded. It's great to be interested in lots of different things. But what are you teaching? Right? You're teaching, if you're not careful, you're teaching the inability to focus. You're teaching the ability to be stick-to-itiveness, and you want to make sure that that's not what you're showing. I'm just turning around because I'm showing you all these scenes because this is a beautiful area. This is a little bridge that I'm going across right now. So we're heading down in that direction. Right? So this is beautiful. Look at that. The sunset right there. Wow. Through those trees. Isn't that cool? Nice, 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 nice. Awesome. Yeah, so make sure, so continue learning, continue refining, continue getting better. If you do that, then you sustain that leadership by example without burning out. But if not, then you will find yourself going through burnout, being very frustrated, very irritable, very discontent. Remember, irritable, discontent, dissatisfied, irritable, and discontent. What is the word? Of course, as soon as I said that, it went out of my head, right? That's how it usually is. Just make sure that you are not getting burnt out. Restless, irritable, and discontented. Restless, irritable, and discontented. And we do not want that to be the space that we find ourselves in. All right, so how do we lead by example in our professional lives? How do we lead by example in our professional lives? Number one, we want to be the first to do whatever we're asking people to do. Yep. And so it may be that being the first means understanding it the first. Maybe not you physically getting out there and doing it. But if we're going to ask some folks to do some stuff, we want to understand the idea that we want. Now, technically, you may not have those skills. So there are people who are doing those skills, but I've got to understand what I want you to do. I can't let you first go out and figure it out and come back and tell me what we're going to do. I know what I want. And you are part of my team, and I'm leading you by example. If I'm the team lead, then guess what? I've got to spend some time with those manuals. I've got to spend time with that content so that I have an idea of what it is and where we are going. So if you respect each other, and if you expect your team to be punctual, then you be punctual, be professional, be there. Excellence isn't commanded, it's demonstrated. Whoa, right? You can't command excellence, but you can demonstrate excellence. Be what you want people to be. And if you do that, then you are setting yourself up for success. So you want to ask yourselves, am I meeting the standards that I'm expecting? Am I doing the things that I want my team to do? And if you are, nobody can ask anything else from you. But if you're not, we got to step up our game. Remember, limitless living. Do my habits match my expectations of other people? Right? So we're not allowing anything from outside, anything from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do to be successful. So that means I've got to learn, I've got to change, I've got to grow, I've got to expand. I'm not stuck. I've got a growth mindset, not a not a fixed mindset. All of that is part and parcel of leadership. Then you got to own your mistakes and learn publicly. Ooh. Own your mistakes. It's easy to make mistakes, and it's easy to let them slide and not apologize, not correct them, not say whatever it is you need to say to whoever you need to say it to. But you want to own it and be learning publicly. One of the things that I am now very conscious of is the fact that I don't know that I've always done a good job of showing my son my learning, right? So there's this man that he knows. There's this man that he grew up seeing that was already a physician, that was already doing the things I'm doing now. And over the last several years, I have been very intentional about allowing him to see me struggle, allowing him to hear my thoughts, allowing him to understand the problem solving that's involved in a lot of places that he will find himself. Because I don't want him struggling with the idea that he made a mistake, because he thinks that mistakes are inherently bad, and that he doesn't know how to get out of a position. Do it publicly. We don't teach problem solving as much as we need to. We don't teach critical thinking as much as we need to. So people have lost some of those abilities. And as a leader, as an example, you can teach those things. You can teach them how to do that by example. So do it publicly. Don't hide. Now, that's not to say that you take all of your mistakes and you put them on your chest and go tell everybody. No, that's not what we're saying. But you want to make sure that the people around you know that you are learning, that you're growing, that you're becoming the best version of yourself. And if you do that, that's all we can ask. Okay? All right. And then consistently build trust. Someone said to me recently that trust is earned in drops and lost in buckets. I'm trying to remember where I got that. I heard that just a couple weeks ago, actually. Let me say it again. Trust is earned in drops and lost in buckets. So that means that it takes a long time for people to trust you. But when you've lost trust, when trust is going away, it's gone a lot at a time, and then it takes a mountain to get it back. So you want to make sure that you are building trust in your people, building trust in who you are. So when people see you, they understand. In my office, one of the things I am very conscious of, and I have a team member who asks me stuff all the time. I say, why did you do that? Very observant. And so I'm very careful, right? So that there's not an inconsistency. Now, sometimes things seem inconsistent because I have not explained what my thought process is. But at any time that there appears to be a question about something I do, I explain, hey, this is what happened. This is why I did this. This is why this is different from that other example that I told you. So that people understand that it's not inconsistent, but it's just a different thought process. And of course, I'm down a path here that I've never been to. Let's see what's at the end over here. So we're talking about leading by example. Consistently build your capacity. Consistently build your credibility. Consistently work to help people to understand who you are and where you are. Okay, so these are some of the trails. I'm going to turn around here so you can see. Let's see. I'm going to go right here. So we just came down, let's see, we came down this trail, the short loop. We're not gonna go that way. That's going further down in that way. So we're gonna head back down the trail we just came from. So remember that your consistency or your leadership, if you're going to lead well, then you got to be consistent. And consistency is a mindset. Consistency is a feature of what you are developing, who you are growing into. So this isn't just let me do these things. It is let me become. So we're not doing. It's kind of like Yoda, right? He said we're not doing. We're just being. We're just doing. Or it is what it is. And if you are going to be the person that you're envisioning, then if you're going to lead, let me say that. If you're going to lead by example, then you have to become the person that you want people to follow. This is incredible. I love it, love it, love it. Love this conversation because it is a conversation that ties into several of the other thoughts that we've had about not just allowing the keystone principles to be like things we're checking off. Oh, I can organize. Oh, I've done my time management. Oh, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you becoming the person who is embodied by those principles. They're not just things outside of me now. They are who I am. So when I am showing up, when I am teaching, when I'm leading, people are just seeing the things that are part of me. I don't have to go back and say, oh, I forgot to do this piece. I forgot to do that piece. Now, having said that, there are things that you're going to have to work on and things you will forget, right? Because it's a constant learning process. But what I'm meaning to tell you is that we're no longer just checking the boxes off. We are working to become the people that we are talking about, the people that we want other people to be. There's a racetrack down here, so you hear some of the cars. Well, not down here, but close to here. So you hear some of those cars revving. Okay? So that's what we're working on. We're working to become those people. We're working on being the vision of the person that we're creating. So leadership is not just about being the loudest voice. Sometimes we want to be seen. Someone said to me once that you don't always have to be the person in charge. Sometimes it's good enough just to have someone in the room know who you are. So being a leader doesn't have to be you being the loudest voice, but when you speak, kind of like E.F. Hutton, people listen. Why? Because they understand the value, because they've seen the consistency, because they've seen the benefit, because they've seen where you are. Every time you show up, every time you follow through, every time you do what you say you're going to do, every time you're consistent, every time you are the first to say, okay, I'm going to try that. Let me do that. Let me work with you. Then people understand who you are and they know that, okay, this is somebody I can follow because they're not afraid to put it all on the line. They're not afraid to show up with their A game. And that is what you want to do. You want to be that person that they understand, that person that they are looking to. All right, so let's go ahead. We can't ever end without our challenge. So go ahead and pull out your journal, and let's go to our challenge. And I want to say here, as I get to the challenge, that this journal that you're creating, this is your playbook. You should be taking all the things that we're learning. You should have been diving into them, doing the challenges, creating your thoughts around them, And when you're done, this is going to be your workbook for success. This is going to be your journal for success. This is going to be your playbook, your manual. So go ahead and grab that out. So we're talking about leading through action today, leading through activity, leading through example. Number one, write down one area in life where people look to you for influence. Where's one place that people typically say, hey, let's go talk to Dwain. Let's go ask John. Let's go ask Tony. Let's go ask Sally. What's one area? Is it your family, your coworkers, your church? Is it an online audience? Where do they look to you for influence? Choose one action today that sets an example in that area. And I've talked to you about my weight and what that means for me and how that's going to be one of my things. Okay? So what is the thing? What is your thing? What are you going to do? Right? Do something consistent, something value-driven, something visible. 100-day walk, looking at my weight. When I go shopping now, I think about things that I can wear. Because for a long time, I was wearing all kind of baggy stuff, right? Because I'm trying to hide the weight and all that. No longer. No longer. And then reflect on how your actions align with what you want to model for other people. How do my actions look to other people? What do I do? How can I show them? What's my example? And then, are you showing up every day with your A game? Not talking about being tired and sick and being bored or worn out or being overwhelmed. But on your regular day, your everyday, are you showing up with your A game? Because if you're not, somebody's watching, somebody's seeing, somebody's emulating you. And we want to make sure that when we're leading, as we're being consistent, as we're learning and growing, that we're showing or giving the right example. Hey, I'm always excited when you're with me. Always glad that when you're here. We are 88 days in to this 100-day walk. Can you believe it? Did you believe you could be here? I'm proud of you. Because every time you show up, you're making a statement that you are here for yourself, that you're doing what you need to do to be consistent. You're doing what you need to do to live the limitless living pathway, that you're living that model, that I'm not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent me from doing what I need to do to be successful in my space, in my health. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Woode with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health in your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. That's right. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you tomorrow for day number 89. I'll see you on the walk.